Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Jared Moon. The Garage Gym Athlete Podcast is a result of my desire to build better humans, unequivocal coaches, and autonomous athletes. I've spent the last several years obsessing over program design, nutrition, and every other way you can optimize human performance. This podcast distills the latest scientific research with what I've learned and blends it with the not-so-scientific field of mental toughness. We are here to build you into a dangerously effective athlete. If you enjoy this podcast, you can find out more about our training at garagegymathlete.com. And if you want to pursue more into the field of coaching and programming, head to endof3fitness.com. Thanks for listening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jared Moon here with Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe?
Hey, what's up with you?
Not much. Excited to be here talking to the man, the myth, the legend, Keith Vance. How you doing, Keith?
Keith Vance, a.k.a. Nacho Libre.
Right. Yeah, we've seen some pretty awesome stuff posted in the group, man, and I'm excited to dive into things with you a little bit more than we've been able to, just to communicating through the group.
Sure.
I'll let you take it away right off the bat. So if you just want to give a basic intro, who you are, what you do, and how you train.
Yeah, so I'm a husband to my wife, Karen, for 23 years. I'm the father of 7, ranging from age 22 down to 9. Actually, the grandfather of 1 now at 44 years old.
Congratulations.
I own a construction company. We do structural framing, so, set the trusses, that type of thing. Got like 50 or 60 employees. And done 2 rounds of You're Hard to Kill, and I'm on my third. This is my first round of the strength track. So,
how you liking the strength track versus Hard to Kill?
You know what? I did that Hard to Kill just because it sounded like the worst, and,
right?
and I loved it. I loved it. But I'm kind of a strength guy, so once I feel like I accomplished my goals in Hard to Kill, I said I want to do some strength stuff, and it's a good balance. I like it.
Awesome, man.
Really, a lot of similarities. Obviously, the just not as much running and cardio stuff in the strength as Hard to Kill, which I guess makes sense. So,
yeah, it's a little bit more limited there.
Yeah.
Now, what we've seen it. I mean, I feel like I have a pretty good understanding. But for anyone listening who hasn't seen it in the Facebook group or whatever, like we probably need to post a picture or video to go along with this podcast episode. But tell us about your setup, man. You have one of the coolest garage gym outdoor setups I think I've ever seen. So how'd that get started, and what all do you have?
Okay, that was an evolution. So I've always had free weights and that kind of thing. I've never joined a gym. I'm the kind of guy that I want to do what I want, when I want, how I want. So I've always had free weights and that kind of thing. My youngest sister, she, I guess, hit her 30s and had her like little crisis there, like goals that she want to accomplish, whatever. And she came across this thing called a Spartan Race. I didn't know what a Spartan Race was 3 years ago. She's like, Keith, do this with me. I was like, I don't do team stuff. I do what I want, when I want, how I want. I'm not doing no team runs. Then she's always been able to do it to me. She gave me those, like, that face that she can do, like, please. So I was like, all right, if we're going to do it, we need to train like that type of training. That's the kind of training we need to do. So that's why I built that place. I built that place with the rope climbs and everything, so that there's a group of us that were going to do that Spartan Race. And so I just did a little research, and it kind of evolved from there. But that's why I built that place. Yep. So we did our first Spartan Race, and then that group of people that ran with us, we just kind of stuck together, and they come over every day, and we train together, and we put your guys' workouts up on the board.
That's awesome. And you're training outdoors. Where you're in Florida, right?
Yeah. So I've been blessed. We live on 15 acres. My shop and office are behind my house. And my workout barn, I'm looking out the window right now. I can see it from here. My workout barn is directly over there. So working from home, like you've probably figured, it's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because you're working from home. It's a curse because if you don't keep it in check, you never stop working.
Right.
So when at 4:30, 5 o'clock, when I'm done, I go straight from here to my workout barn, I put you guys work up there for an hour. I do my hour of stress relief. It just feels good just to get it out. And then that kind of breaks up work mode from dad mode or relaxation mode. So I just go straight from here, right over there, knock it out. And then I'm with the kids, with the family for the rest of the night. So
that's awesome, man. So before, you said it was your sister who kind of was, it's before that. What were you doing? Were you working out regularly or doing something different? What were you doing before that?
So I was searching. My wife and I were married. She was 14. I always told my kids, I'll never admit this, but she was 14. I was 16 when we met. She was 18. I was 20 when we got married. So as my kids were getting older, their friends would come over and they're like, man, your dad's so young. Man, your dad, rides four-wheelers. Your dad does this and does that. And I always took it for granted. But now as I got older, I always wanted to kind of keep that. You know what I mean? I always wanted to keep that longevity. So I just kind of did what I wanted, but never really had a plan. I would just do whatever I felt like doing. When my sister signed up for the Spartan Race and we kind of started training that way, there's a local guy. You ever guys watch Ninja Warrior?
Yeah, I've seen it before.
So there's this guy who was on there. He's my age. He's local here. His name's Moose. We call him Morgan. We crossed paths. And I'm like, hey, man, come train me. He was my age. I said, I'll just do what you do. And through that process, I kind of dialed in my training a little more for my age, and just kind of went from there. And then I found you guys.
That's really awesome. And so what are some of your goals right now? What are you looking to achieve in training?
Yeah. The last month I'm not a runner. I'm 205 pounds. I despise running. I guess that's why I make myself do it. This past month, man, I just have kind of had an ambition to do a marathon. So I'd like to do a marathon this year, which sounds terrible, but at the same time, sounds wonderful. So I think I'm going to do a marathon. Yeah.
That's funny. You switch to the strength track and decide on a marathon.
That's like how I do it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I got a big endurance event coming up. I better just start lifting more weights. Yeah, that's exactly how I do it on accident most of the time. That's really cool, man. And so you have this crew. Do they work out with you every day?
Every day. Every day like clockwork. Yeah, and it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing because some of those workouts, it depends on what the day is. Some days you just don't feel it. And if you're not feeling it and you're by yourself, and that's why I have so much respect for a lot of those garage gym athletes on there that are doing it by themselves, because that's where that mental toughness kicks in. That's where that battle in the mind, you stomp on that guy and say, nah, we're doing this. And sometimes where I probably would have not done it, they've carried me. You know what I mean? It's been a blessing, and it's been good for me.
Yeah.
It's been good for me.
Getting up at 5 a.m. to work out in a garage that's below freezing, I don't think I could keep up with that.
Right. But there's people on there that are doing that stuff, man. Yeah. They're doing it solo. I'm like, man, that's dedication. Yeah.
For sure. Now, I'd love to hear your perspective on this, training where you have the last couple of years, but really just I'd love to hear about kind of the behind the scenes struggle, because you mentioned you own a construction company, 50 employees. I know there's nothing easy about that. 7 kids, you have a lot going on, a lot to balance. Do you find it tough really any struggle with trying to balance it all?
Well, okay. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. And it has been a struggle. The whole process has been a struggle. Like anything else, it's worthwhile, right? And then it's worthwhile is going to take. Somebody's got to push that boulder. And in the beginning, it's you, right? Anything you got to push it, and you got to get that thing rolling, and then you build your team to get behind you to help push. So when it comes to business, I've been fortunate to have some good people that can push. I started it, and now they're pushing. And when it comes to business, that thing's dialed in pretty well. When it comes to family, my kids are getting older. A lot of them are working now, and I'm at the point in my life now where I can see they're taking that path of their own, and I'm just proud of them, man. You can see how, for instance, I got my son Thomas. He's working for a guy welding, that kind of thing. Thomas, when he was younger, we'd get him toys for Christmas. He'd take them apart and put them back together. And now you can see what he's doing now. He's doing what he was meant to do. And yeah, he goes to work and it's hard work, but he's loving it. And as a dad, I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying the fruit of that labor. I'm enjoying it. So did that answer your question?
Yeah, that answers my question, man. I think that's really cool just to hear your perspective and how things have transitioned. Now, what's the weather like for you in your area of Florida?
Yeah, right now I think it's 78. This morning it was cold. This morning it was in the 40s, but it's 78 right now. Yeah, 78.
Is the only challenge you have humidity?
It's humid. It's humid. It sucks. I just got back from Michigan. I got an uncle. I haven't seen him in 11 years. He diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. So I went there to visit him, and I got up at 5 a.m., went for a run, my 5-mile run every morning. And it was cold, but the weather just seemed cleaner and crisper up there, man. I ran so much better up there than I did here. And it just felt good. And I think that was it. Humidity was not a factor there.
I think that's a huge piece. I know when we moved to North Carolina for a year, and all my run times were so much faster, because it's not truly like elevation like Colorado where it'll affect you. It's just like the air is cleaner. It's not as humid. And it was so much easier for me to run in North Carolina than it typically is in Dallas.
I posted on Facebook, I think yesterday or the day before when I was still up there. I tried to stay into that zone 2 up there.
Yeah.
I was like 4 and 5, and I'm just guessing it was my body trying to stay warm, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, anyway, it was fun.
Yeah. Anytime the body's trying to heat itself or cool itself, the heart rate typically jumps up a couple beats. So it's hard to do when you're battling the weather. All right, man. I would love to dive into some of these other questions now and hear, what is the hardest workout you've ever done?
All right. Hardest workout. I don't know if it's necessarily the hardest workout, but it's the one that I remember, and it has to do with you guys. So I was scrolling through Facebook, right? And I see this, you guys must have been sponsoring your page. It showed up as an ad, and it had to do with Meet Yourself Saturday. So I'm like, oh, what's this Meet Yourself Saturday? So I looked at it, and then I think you had them on YouTube or something. And the first one I saw was the Iron Mile. Okay. So I showed my buddy Jake that comes out and works with me. I said, man, look at this. Meet Yourself Saturdays. Look at, they really suck. Let's start doing some of these. Let's start doing them. So Iron Mile was the first one. And in that bio, when you said, hey, here's how you do it, you said, don't make laps, go out and come back. And then you recommended doing your body weight. So I'm 205. I put 185 on there, guys, not knowing what I was in for. I found out. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I found out.
You can't change them.
I found out quick. And there's no relief. I don't have to describe to you what it's like. You guys know. But that's the one I remember because that was the first one that I did in your name, and I was cussing you guys mentally.
Perfect. That's exactly what you're supposed to do in the Iron Mile. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I love it.
That's great, man. You didn't even I love the way you started that. You're like, you know what? Let's just 185 sounds great. Let's try it out. Yeah, I know that was brutal. That's I've cursed myself in that workout sometimes, especially when I go to the body weight. So doing 185 or something, it's just like, oh, man.
I've done it 2 times since then, and 135 is plenty for me. So
yeah, and you feel a lot better starting. That's the worst part of it. And that's part of the reason I say go out and come back. Cause 400 meters, that first quarter mile, you're like, you could probably go without stopping. Yeah, I'm good. And then once you finally get to that halfway point, you're like, holy crap, I got to go back.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, man. In your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
I like this question, and it's been a process for me. So when we talked about before about business and family and all that stuff, I bought the house across the road from me. So I bought the house and 5 acres across the road from me, and I rented out to my 2 boys. My oldest son works for me. He runs a crew for me. And then my son, Thomas, that told you about, the welder. Talking about pushing that rock, pushing that boulder. There was a time where I had to get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock and start pushing. Now my day starts at 7, and I really don't have to start problem solving until 8 o'clock. So I'm laying in bed, man, and at 5 o'clock in the morning, I hear both my boys' trucks firing up, and they're going to go get it. And I dealt with those feelings for a while. Is this just a stage in life and this is okay with me, that I got a certain comfort level here? Is that just my new norm, or am I lazy? And I battled those feelings for a while, man, for months. So I finally, I'm just going to put this thing to bed. So when those boys got up and go to work, I got up, and I went out there and hopped on my new air runner in the middle of the night out there where it's dark out there in my workout barn. And I just said, I'm going to run a 5K. Nobody but me. And doing stuff like that is mentally taxing, because nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody cares. And that person came out real quick. He didn't like getting up at 5, and he wanted to compromise with me. Let's don't do this every day. Let's just run 1 mile. Let's just do this. But I just shut him up in that box, man. I shut him up in his box, and I'm not going around this. I'm going through it. And that was any endurance type thing, anything you got to do the same thing for an extended period of time is hard for me. I'd much rather do something where it's hard, but you're mixing it up. You know what I mean? You got past it, and I'm doing this. So I would say that's been a big challenge here recently. Every morning, when those covers feel good, say, or I'm doing this, and then getting out there. It's been good for me. It's been good for me. It's been real good for me.
That's huge. I think finding out, just asking that question, throughout life, am I content or am I complacent? Is this like, am I okay with where I'm at, or am I accidentally being complacent? And I think that's a good question we can all ask ourselves from time to time.
Yeah.
All right. If you could only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I thought about this one. You guys saw my stuff. I love all my stuff. I love all of it. But I don't know. See if you agree with me on this one. I think a kettlebell is versatile.
Yeah.
And when you start swinging that thing, my heart starts racing, and I hate it. But you can press it, you can squat it. There's so much you can do with a kettlebell, and it's cheap. It's cheap weight. So I would say, a kettlebell.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's a great one. What? So your gym is pretty stacked, your barn. You have pretty much everything.
He's done like a video tour and stuff too. So we got to post that in the show notes when this one's published.
It was also like you first started off when you joined us, it was just sawdust. You were like squatting and doing stuff in sawdust, and then you actually had it paved, and then the roof on it, and everything was pretty fantastic. But if you could add something, I'm curious what you would add. What's on the list? You know what, man? Jared, you put something in front of me. That I have to have now. You know what I'm going to say. I got the ice bath, and that ice bath will feel so much better if I can get out and get in that sauna. Yeah. I looked at it. They got outdoor saunas, man. I'm looking at it. I'm like, Valentine's Day's coming up. I can tell my wife, hey, baby, look what I got you. Because I got her that Airdyne for her birthday. She doesn't use it, so I do. But I think a sauna is in my wife's future for Valentine's Day. Yeah, there you go.
I love it, man. Yeah. I love it. That's awesome.
That thing? How is it?
It's awesome. And a big reason I got the one that I got, the barrel sauna, is because it's in my garage right now. But if we move, the next place I move, I plan to have more land than we do now. It can go outside, so it can just hang out outside. I don't have to have it in my garage. But
that's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. It gets hot, get sweats, a lot of health benefits. I love it. We do it my wife and I do it almost every night together. So it's really cool.
Wow. Well, good. Well, there you go. That's what I got to tell my wife. Something we're going to do together.
Yeah.
Keep that marriage strong.
It's a big selling point if you go that approach.
Yeah.
All right, man. So we got it all covered. Now, the last question of the show: what is the best advice you have for all the garage gym athletes out there listening to this?
All right. So, it's a process, man. It's a process. And I've given this one a lot of thought, and I've been going through something, and anyway, I'll just throw it out there. I don't know if it's you have that phrase, it's being better humans or being better human beings or something like that. Is that your mission statement?
Yeah. Building better humans.
Building better humans. And I always thought that was kind of a strange statement for what you do. And getting up early in the mornings, I started doing that in December. I just started having this epiphany, and I'm just going to share it with you, and I'm going to try to communicate as clear as I can. Building a strong body, right? Building a strong body, coupled with strengthening your mind. And those two things go together, right? They go to if your mind's weak, your body's going to be weak. If every time your mind tells you to compromise or go ahead and have that extra piece or just take a break, that affects your body, right? So being a better human or building better human, strong body, strong mind, and strong spirit. In your block 0, you guys gives us that thing to warm up, right? So you do 3 sets of 2 minute whatever, we all know what it is. I add one more thing to the bottom of that, and it's one gratitude. That's been helpful with my perspective. So as I'm working out, I'm verbalizing things I'm thankful for. Saturday, man, you did that quarter mile for humanity, right? So every 10 lunges, I'm verbalizing something I'm thankful for. My legs were on fire, but I verbalized, God, thank you for these legs you gave me. There's some people who don't feel their legs and they get around in a wheelchair. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So the process of strengthening this body, of some longevity to be able to do things with my kids and grandkids has made me mentally tough, and it's done something to me spiritually. And I've noticed, think about this. Most people, Joe, you come across, they're weak. And they're looking for somebody to be a source of strength. And I want to be that. We all have burdens, right? We all have things we're going through. I want to be strong enough to carry my own. But if there's somebody who's struggling, I want to be strong enough to grab some of that too, right? And I think those 3 things, being a better human being is a part of that, man, is a part of that. Being strong enough to be generous, being strong enough to take time to say a kind word to somebody to lift their spirits. Everybody else is telling me they ain't going to make it. You can't be it. You'll never be anything. There's so much negativity to be that source of strength for somebody. And there's a lot of weak, hurting people out there that need that strength. So that's maybe with the New Year's, I don't know, maybe that's what's been going in me. And I don't have it fully, I'm not fully comprehending it yet. But I want to carry people around me, man. I want to lift up. And the process of doing your guys' workouts every day has helped me get there. So when you're doing a Meet Yourself Saturday, you question everything about yourself. And you have these little epiphanies. And it's been good for me. Was that clear? Did I communicate?
That was clear. I think in building better humans, the medium in which we communicate for us is typically through mental and physical training, but I do think that it translates into so much more, kind of like what you're talking about. And that's kind of the premise. I feel like our training's the gateway, but then we want you to do so many other things, and really push yourself in every area of life. And I think you put it into words that, help a lot of people understand. And I think that's really awesome.
There's a verse. I was running, and I'll listen to a book, or sometimes I'll listen to the Bible. There's a verse in Romans 5 that encapsulates it, and it had to do with what we're doing. Suffering brings endurance. Endurance brings patience, and at the end of patience, all that is love. So through that hardship, we can learn to love other people. And it's just been like, man, there it is, right there. How would you ever put those together? You know what I mean? Self-suffering. At the end of that, I can I can carry some of those burden and show love to somebody else. So it's been good. It's been good.
Well, Keith, it's been a blast talking with you to get to dive a little bit deeper, and it really was awesome. I appreciate your time, and thanks for being a part of the community and spending your time with us this afternoon. Thanks for listening to the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. If you want to learn more, go to garagegymathlete.com. You can learn about our training. Let us send you a copy of our book, The Garage Gym Athlete, or you can even get featured on the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. Thanks for listening.